Alright guys, we're back. Apparently the stream was lagging so bad that I gotta redo this over again because even the recording lagged out and glitched. So here we are, we're back with the Valentine banner. Now, my initial reaction to this, unfortunately, is cut in half, just like with the Christmas banner. Your boy was streaming Pal World, and I had it in 4K, but like I usually record videos in 4K, but I usually stream in 1080p. So that kind of messed it up. That's why the stream was so bad. But there's nothing I can do. That's already gone and past. So here is Myrrh, who nobody ever expected in a million years was going to be on this banner. That silhouette, there's no way that was Myrrh, right? So here she is as an armored, colorless dragon type. So her weapon, Loving Breath, has 16 might and 1 range, -1 special trigger. She's got built-in distant counter. If the foe initiates combat or their HP is over 75% at the start of combat, then she gains attack up X and inflicts attack -X on the foe in combat, where X is 3 times the number of allies within spaces of unit times 4 plus 6 with a max of 14. That's basically always going to be 14. So basically attack up 14 and attack -14 to the foe. Then she's also getting special acceleration on hit. She also gets back 7 HP after combat. And if the foe initiates combat or the foe's HP is over 75% at the start of combat, she's got res-based DR, so 4 times the difference between stats up to 40%. And she also has adaptive damage, being a dragon type. Now, the problem here is that they didn't give her Null C like Byleth did. So, like, had they given her Null C as a far save unit, that's very important. But it's a little sus that they didn't give it to her. Is she going to be viable? I think that all depends on how much you value her C skill, which we're about to take a look at. So she comes with Armored Bacon, Defense and Res Scal 4, which is a much better stat split than Attack and Speed for Scal 4. So this is at least good. She's got Canny Fighter, which is the exact same effect as Weaving Fighter, except this one does Attack and Res -4 instead of Attack and Defense. That made sense, because like Weaving Fighter wouldn't have made sense for Dragon armor types. So here we go with this. And then finally, Darkling Dragon, which is her unique C skill. So, at the start of turn, if she's in 2 spaces of an ally, she grants Defense and Res up 6 and Warp Bubble to herself for 1 turn. And she also gives Defense and Res up 6 and Warp Bubble to any support partner in 2 spaces of her. Or if she's on a team without a support partner, then it's the ally with the highest defense within 2 spaces for 1 turn. This is really good. Like, being able to just outsource Warp Bubble and have it on 2 separate units is very powerful. Because, like, one of the things about running Gatekeeper in Summoner Duels is that you can kind of, like, go around him a little bit. He's only able to inflict Warp Bubble in a set amount of distance, like, wherever he is. So if you're coming at him from 2 different directions, it can be difficult for him to, like, completely lock down enemies warping. Having this, though, like, having double units with Warp Bubble is actually very effective, because you can send them in 2 separate directions if you want, and just massively extend the amounts of spaces the enemies can't warp to. So very good stuff with this. And then she also inflicts guard on the foe per attack during combat, and then she reduces their non-special DR by half. So that could go up even more if you got Legendary Camilla to support her. And then she's got Far Save built in, which also gives her attack and defense and res up 4 when she triggers it. So she's a very efficient unit to be using, where she's giving Warp Bubble and a Far Save option. I don't necessarily think she's going to be the sturdiest Far Saver in the game. I think Byleth is still that guy, because he also has the Null C built in, and he's also got the Duo skill. However, having an armored unit that can also give Warp Bubble support is very good. So I don't think Myrrh should be slept on, but I'm not sure she's going to be as impressive on defense as she is with the support. All right, next up we have Ephraim here, who... This is some very interesting attire here for Ephraim. He looks like a princely pauper there. I gotta throw my hands up, man. This dude coming out with the different kind of drip there. Like, this is something I would expect from Eliwood, not Ephraim. So this is pretty cool. He's an Lance armor type, and it looks like he was definitely the other silhouette. So, RIP the dream of me getting my Valentine Ewan. That's who I thought the silhouette was. 52 HP, 64 attack, 17 speed, 48 defense, and then 41 res. He's getting +6 from somewhere. It's Larachel who has res tactics, so yeah, 41 res. So Righteous Lance, 16 might and 1 range, -1 special trigger. Grants attack and defense up 4 to allies in 3 spaces, and recovers 7 HP to those allies after their combat. If the foe initiates combat or the foe's HP is over 75% at the start of combat, inflicts attack and defense minus X on the foe during combat, where X is the number of allies in 3 spaces unit times 4 plus 6 with a max of 14. Essentially just attack and defense minus 14 on the foe. And also reduce damage from attacks by 30%, excluding AoE specials. So no check there, just automatically 30% DR on every attack the enemies do. And also recover 7 HP after combat. And if the foe initiates combat or foe's HP is over 75% at the start of combat, when units special triggers, neutralizes foe's damage reduction effects from non-special skills, which is very good that they gave that to him. Right now, all the armored units just want to run Special Spiral 4 so they can blow up all of the insane amount of DR that these initiate tanks have. So that's very good that he has that. Also, he would have had to have that because his B skill is unique. You wouldn't want to replace that with Special Spiral 4, so that's very good. We got Armored Blaze here again, so not just on Edelgard anymore. Earth Fire boost. Finally, they gave us a different boost besides Fire Flood boost, so that's very nice. Hopefully, we'll get Wind Fire boosts at some point for attack and speed, because I think that one's going to be really nice on God-type units. And then we have Sunlight Bangle D. So Ephraim out here giving the D to all of these ladies for Valentine's Day. At the start of combat, if unit's HP is over 25% and unit initiates combat, foe can counterattack before a unit's first attack. So this is basically the Summer Ephraim thing where he gives the enemies Vantage for some reason. I'm not really sure why. Like, what is the reason for him doing that? It's okay. Like, it's not a big deal on the Summer one because when he initiates, it makes it easier for him to get to his special. Because, like, he's just going to face tank the enemy's attack anyway and then blow them up. But for an armored unit like this, I'm not too sure why he needs to have that. It would have been crazy if he had Vantage, though. Then at the start of combat, if his HP is over 25%, he inflicts attack and defense minus 5 on the foe. He attacks twice, and he also nullifies guard as well. And also, every hit that he lands gives him back 7 HP. So this is a lot of healing. He's got this on his B skill, and he's got healing on his weapon effect. He's nullifying guard. He's brave attacking. Like, this guy is going to be a pretty strong damage dealer, despite being an armor type that can barely move. And then he's got attack and defense near save as well. So very interesting stuff here. Now, again, like I said, it's going to be hard for him to get into the action, but, like, with Guidance 4 and things like that, it's not that problematic. Or even if you give him Assault Troop. So, yeah, there are ways that he can get into the action to fight. But as a near saver, he seems like he's going to be pretty sturdy. And there we see him triggering save to protect Larachel. Okay. Would have been... I would have peeked if Larachel was on this manner. Alright, next up we have Selena, who's going to be our demo. They sure have a lot of alts for Selena, huh? I mean, I guess she is like the most melancholy villain from Fire Emblem 8. Like, she's the one that everyone feels bad for. But do we need that many copies of her? How many alts does Selena have? I don't know. So we got 40 HP, 57 attack, 46 speed, 20 defense, 22 res. This unit's weapon is on another level. Like, this, y'all thought arcane weapons were good? Nah, hold my beer, this weapon said. I'm not an arcane weapon, but pulls out Glock. Devoted Basket plus, 12 might and 2 range. At the start of combat, if unit's HP is over 25%, deals damage to the foe equal to X% of foe's attack as combat begins. Yes, you read that right. That is the legendary Camilla effect. If unit has weapon triangle advantage or speed advantage, X is 30, otherwise X is 15. 30% of the foe's attack as melt damage prior to combat on an inheritable weapon. Yeah. Let that sink in for a moment. But y'all ain't seen nothing yet. You think this weapon is crazy? We're about to look at something even more probably the most degenerate thing I've ever seen in this game. Alright, activates only when unit can attack in combat. Effects that reduce damage during combat do not apply and will not reduce foe's HP below 1. Same as Legendary Camilla. Also grants attack and speed up 5 to unit during combat, and a bonus to attack and speed equal to 15% of unit speed at the start of combat. Just wild. Like, everyone is legendary. Every red tome, at least, is Legendary Camilla now. Unbelievable. Alright, then we have Rally Up Attack, Attack and Speed Catch 3, and Attack and Res Far Trace 3. Solid fodder skills, honestly, for a demote, but the juice is on that weapon, man. If you pull 4-star copies of her, your red units are going to be living the life. Especially the cavalry ones that it can't really get like Special Spiral 4 and Magic Null follow-up. Who needs all of that when you can just melt the enemies to freaking smolders? Okay, and finally, here we go. This is it. I quit. Like, why is it always when the live stream blows up is when the unit also blows up? Like, this happened on the Christmas banner, and it's happening again here. This guy is so OP, he actually killed my live stream. Like, I'm blaming him for that. So, Leon, good guy, Leon. Like, the good ending for Leon if everything went his way and no Demon King ever stole his life. So, Green Tome, Cavalry type. He's got his Bay there, too. Like, everything is all hunky-dory, right? Leon's life has never been happier. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for everybody else around him. So, a Tender Vessel. There is nothing tender about this vessel, by the way. 14 might, 2 range. Enables Canto 1. -1 special trigger. At the start of combat, if unit's HP is over 25%, deals damage to foe equal to X% of foe's attack as combat begins. If unit has weapon triangle advantage or better res than the foe, X is 40. Otherwise, X is 20. So, Legendary Camilla, once again. Because that was so okay, right? Just to do 40% melt damage to the enemy at the start of combat. That was perfectly fine. So now everyone can do it. Alright, grants attack, defense, and res up 5 as well to unit during combat. And a bonus to attack, defense, and res equal to 20% of unit's res at the start of combat. And also cuts DR in half, because why not? Legendary Camilla gave that as a support, but this guy is giving it to himself there, so... Sure, let's just, like, bombard the enemies until they can't do anything other than run Miracle. Alright, we have Iceberg Gray Illusion. So, A slot passive here. If unit initiates combat or foe's HP is over 75% at the start of combat, grants attack, defense, and res up 9 to unit during combat. And if unit's res is better than the foe's res, foe can't counterattack. So he's got built-in Fire Sweep there, which is great. Then also, if unit initiates combat, after combat, inflicts the following status on foes with the highest speed in 3 spaces of the target foe, excluding the target through the next actions. After start of turn skills trigger, action ends immediately. So what this means is if you're attacking somebody in any of the modes besides Summoner Duels, they're going to get this status effect, and at the start of their next turn, it's going to end their turn. So it's kind of like Satyr a little bit, but like this is way better. This is actually like busted compared to Satyr, where you have to line up in the same column and same row. This shit has whatever radius you want because you just target an enemy and then all of a sudden another enemy is being impacted by this. This is way too easy to activate. Like, ending turns is busted, and the way that he does it is actually legitimate. Unlike Satyr, where you gotta play like 5D chess to get Satyr to get it to work, but like this guy is so easy and so busted to do it. And in Summoner Duels, they're not going to get a status effect. It's just going to instantly end their action. So like that, dude. This is too much. This is actually like too much. If anyone wants to quit the game over this, be my guest. Like this is actually like nutty. Then he's got Occult Strike and Insight Attack Res, because of course, why wouldn't he have the best possible cavalry skills? Oh, by the way, he has a duo skill too. And the duo skill is equally as gross as his freaking A-slot passive, man. It's like it just doesn't end. This feels like I was getting gut-punched non-stop while watching this on the live stream. So, 39 HP. He's got Insight, so 61 attack, 16 speed, 26 defense, and 46 res. Don't be fooled by 26 defense, because he's getting a lot out of his A skill and also his weapon. Like, this man has a lot of defense. He's similar to the Valentine Lift from ages ago, where his defense was surprisingly really good after everything was said and done with his stat checks. And then finally this bullshit here that, like, fuck this shit, man. Duo skill inflicts the following status on foes in cardinal directions of unit through the next actions. After start of turn skills trigger, action ends immediately. And for foes who haven't acted yet in SD, it immediately ends their actions. This is so stupid. Like, we did not need a duo skill end turn button. And he ends like so many turns, man. Are we sure the Demon King is not involved here? Because this is very demonic, what he does. It's just not cool, man. Bro, like, this is against the Geneva Convention. World War II ended this, I thought. Look at this. All 4 of these guys are going to just instantly end their turn. What kind of bullshit is this? Like, come on, man. If you line him up in SD with a row of units like this, maybe you'll get like 2 at a time, which is just sick. I don't even know what to say, man. Like, this shit is stupid. I think I've said enough. So, yeah, guys, if you needed me to tell you whether or not you should summon on the banner, then I don't know. Maybe see a psychiatrist or something, because things are not clicking. If that's the case, if you can't tell by a glance that Leon is good, then there may be some underlying issues. So Vigard is going to be our Tempest Trial freebie, which actually is pretty good. His axe may be insane because the inheritable tome is insane on this banner. And on top of that, Vigard has really good BST, so possibly he'll be in the next scoring bin and be an awesome merge project. So that's going to wrap us up for this video, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed the coverage, and I am going to go think about all the bad things in my life now, because Leon says you can't have any fun.